The first of our three types of slanted language is slanted facts. Slanted facts basically refers to the omission of evidence or to weighing evidence. Omission of evidence is pretty straightforward. That's when somebody doesn't say something because they don't want somebody else to know it, which is pretty dishonest if you think about it. The weighing of evidence would be if somebody would spend a lot of time lingering on something that was negative, which would have the effect of making that topic look more negative when there could be positives that are just being left out or ignored. It's important to remember, though, that people sometimes omit information out of ignorance. One great example of this is the entire Smokey the Bear campaign. People used to think that a forest fire was just a destructive force, but as time went on, they realized that the forest fires that had been burning were really small and localized, and they would get rid of all of the little twigs and pine needles that were basically kindling in a forest, and a little forest fire would just clear out that underbrush and it would be fine. But after 40, 50 years of no forest fires at all of that, years and years of kindling has built up, and now forests are very, very dangerous because a little fire will become a huge fire very quickly. So the Smokey campaign was actually kind of a bad thing, but people didn't realize it, so we can't really blame them for it, really. We can be annoyed about it, but, we can't go back in time. This poster is a nice example because you've got some really interesting imagery happening. You've got your anthropomorphized Smokey wearing pants and a hat, and he's got his 5, fingers like a human, which is what anthropomorphizing is. And so are these guys. This is a bear praying, and this is a bear holding an injured deer. Which is not something that we would expect bears to do. So if you were working on this piece for your rhetorical analysis, you would want to figure out why this creator of this poster decided to represent Smokey the Bear this way, and why he thinks that this religious imagery is useful, or spiritual imagery. You would also look at this, white text on this smoke background, and try to figure out, if this is this meant to be like a pure chastisement, which would be supported by the scolding face of the bear, or is it meaning something else, or could it mean many things depending on who was looking at it? And you would want to maybe detail a few of the different interpretations that it could have. Another aspect which is worth looking into would be slanted emphasis. Now, this is much more subtle than slanted facts. Slanted emphasis can refer to the arrangement of words, like Smokey was a wise old bear. Some people will be hearing the word wise, and they will think about the word wise and skip old. So Smokey might come out on top looking more wise than old. Connective words can also be really useful. If you think about Smokey was old but wise, it almost sounds like his wisdom makes up for his oldness. He's old, but hey, he's wise too. Smokey was an old and wise can make him sound equally old and wise. He's both. It's sort of more neutral. Smokey was old but wise Smokey was wise but old can make it sound like his age has undercut or belittled his wisdom. He was wise, but he's so old, he's irrelevant. That can maybe be the message conveyed. Another thing to think about when you're looking at emphasis is punctuation and formatting, of course. In this poster, will prevent 9 out of 10 forest fires. Although, because the forest fires were prevented, it's impossible to know whether the care did or did not prevent this number. How could we know that there would have been 10 forest fires if 9 were prevented? You don't measure fires that don't happen, basically. So in this image, you have old Smokey, and you also have him kind of giving you the look while he's pouring out the fire, being careful with it. We will discuss the last part of slanted language in the next video.